Now with that, we will now move on to the next type of, the next part of the lecture on electrolysis. Now electrolysis, recall, what is electrolysis? Electrolysis means that the reaction is non-spontaneous. So to cause this non-spontaneous chemical reaction to take place, I need electricity to cause this, to drive this non-spontaneous reaction. Now, so let's look at what does an electrolytic cell made up of. So this one you should be familiar. You have gone through this in O-level. So in an electrolytic cell, you must have a battery, and I must have the electrolyte. So electrolyte will consist of cation and anion. And now, then your electrode, take note, the polarity of the electrode in an electrolytic cell is dependent on which end of the battery you connect it to. So if you connect the electrode to the positive end, so this electrode in green is the positive electrode. And if you connect the electrode to the negative end of the battery, this electrode is the negative electrode. And now, because this is positive electrode, your anion will be attracted. So anion attracted to the positive electrode, and anion loses electron. So when it loses electron, it undergoes oxidation. So this electrode is the electrode where oxidation has taken place, because anion will lose electron there. Then on the negative electrode, the cation is attracted to it. So, and electron will flow towards the negative electrode, where the cation will gain electron and undergo reduction. So the negative electrode is where reduction has taken place. So therefore, the electrode in green is called the anode, because it is the electrode where oxidation has taken place. The electrode in blue is where reduction has taken place, so it's the cathode. Okay, so you realize that from the table that you see here, the polarity of electrode for electrochemical cell and electrolytic cell are not the same for cathode and anode. Okay, so you cannot always remember cathode must be positive or anode must be positive. It's not like that. So for electrochemical cell, let's recall, how do we assign polarity of the electrode? We will first need to determine which is my oxidation half cell, which is my reduction half cell. So oxidation half cell means that oxidation taken place, so electron is given out. So it will flow from the oxidation half cell to your reduction half cell. And because this half cell is oxidation, therefore it will be assigned as an anode. This half cell is the reduction, so the electrode is assigned as a cathode. And how do I assign polarity? I look at the direction of the electron flow. Electron flow from the negative to the positive. So once you have decided the direction of electron flow, you realize that this one is a negative, this one is a positive. So for electrochemical cell, your anode is the negative one, cathode is the positive one. But for electrolytic cell, it's different, because now I base it on the battery. So if the electrode is connected to the negative end, so negative end here is the negative electrode. Electrode connected to the positive end, the electrode will be the positive electrode. Okay, so then recall, your cation will be attracted to the negative electrode, because cation is positively charged, and hence they undergo reduction. Therefore here become the cathode, because reduction takes place here. Then your anion, negatively charged, attracted to the positive electrode, anion undergo oxidation. So therefore oxidation, this part here become anode. So you need to remember, you cannot assign polarity based on cathode and anode, because it's different from electrochemical cell and electrolytic cell. So you need to take note whether you are assigning for electrochemical cell or electrolytic cell. There is a difference here. Okay, so with that, now, so just now I say that cation will be attracted to the cathode, anion will be attracted to the anode. So now, if there are more than one type of cation, if there are more than one type of anion, how do I decide which is the cation that will undergo reduction first, which is the anion that will undergo oxidation first? Now, So these are the factors that will help me decide the state of the electrolyte, the electrode potential, the concentration of the ions, and the nature of the electrode. We'll first focus on the state of the electrolyte. Now, if your electrolyte is just molten, that means it's just liquid electrolyte. In this case, liquid lead bromide. So liquid lead bromide, that means in your electrolyte only consists of Pb2 plus and Br minus. So if you only consist of one type of cation and one type of anion, it's very simple. Only that cation and only that anion will be reduced and oxidized. So now, negative N, so electrode is negative. So positive N here, electrode is positive. So your lead 2 plus, which is cation, will be attracted to the cathode, and hence it will undergo reduction. That is the only cation in the electrolyte. Then for the anion, for your anode, only the bromide ion can be attracted to your anode because there's only bromide ion there. So your bromide ion will undergo oxidation to become bromine. Okay, so when it's molten, it is very simple, very easy to decide. But now, it becomes more complicated when now I use aqueous electrolyte. Because aqueous electrolyte means that water is present. Now, so if water is present, you need to consider water as a competing species that can be attracted to the electrode. And hence, they can also be oxidized or reduced at the electrode. Okay? So, when we say water, we are not referring to H plus and OH minus. Water dissociate very minimally to give H plus and OH minus. So, we're just looking at the pure water as the molecule. Okay, that is discharged. So, now, in this example here, I have aqueous lead 2 bromide, no longer liquid lead 2 bromide. So, there's water in the solution. And hence, remember, the positively charged ion will be attracted to the negative electrode. So, Pb2 plus will be attracted. Now, your question will be, how come water can be attracted? Isn't water neutral that has no charge? How can it be attracted to the electrode? But what you need to take note, water is a polar molecule. Polar molecule means that it has a partial negative end due to your oxygen and the partial positive end. So therefore, there is a difference in the polarity, and hence, the partial positive end of water can be attracted to the electrode. Okay, and because of that now, there will be two species that I need to consider, lead 2 plus and water. Which one will be the one that is reduced at your cathode? Then for your anode, same thing, your N ion will be attracted and bromide ion will be attracted. Now H2O will also be attracted because H2O has the partial negative end. So this end can be attracted to your positive electrode. So now, which one will be the one that is oxidized at the anode? So to decide which species is reduced or oxidized, I need to look at their electrode potential. Then you also need to consider the concentration of the species and the nature of the electrode. So let's look at the electrode potential first. Now, recall, if you are looking at the cathode, cathode is the electrode where reduction has occurred. So for reduction to occur, you must look for the species with the most positive E0 value. Okay, most positive means that you favor reduction. So remember, I want reduction to occur. So when you find the species from your data booklet to get the E0 value, the species that you are looking at must appear on the left-hand side of your half equation. So in this example here, if I have an electrolyte that consists of Ag plus, Cu2 plus, and Zinc 2 plus, now, so how do I decide which one will be the one that is reduced first? I look at the E0 value. This is more positive, and therefore, Ag plus will be the one that is reduced first. Only after all your Ag plus is reduced, then the next positive one, which is copper 2 plus, will start to be reduced. Okay, so this is how we decide. We compare the E0 value. Now, then for the cathode, what you need to take, for the anode is the electrode where oxidation has occurred. So therefore, to decide which species is oxidized, you must look out for species with the most negative E0 value. Okay, the most negative one. So the most negative, so we want oxidation to take place. So therefore, when you look for the half equation, you must look for half equation where these species are on the right hand side. Because right hand side means that they undergo oxidation. So if my electrolyte consists of Cl- and OH-, I look for them on the right hand side. You notice that there are two possible half equation, and I want oxidation to take place, so you must choose the one with the more negative one. So this one here is the more negative or less positive one, and hence it will be the one that is oxidized. Only when OH- has been fully oxidized, then your Cl- will be the next one that will be oxidized. Okay, so next, the next thing is, other than looking at the comparing electrode potential, we also have to consider the concentration. Now, sometimes because that particular ion, the concentration is so high such that its E0 value is changed. And because of that, I will need to consider its ability to be discharged. Now take note, I only consider concentration if the E0 value of both species are very close. So you must underline that word, only when the E0 value are very close. So let me give you an example here. Now, in this example, I'm looking at electrolysis of brine. Now, brine is a solution that consists of concentrated NaCl. So therefore, it will have high concentration of Na+, high concentration of Cl-, and low concentration of water. So now, at the positive electrode, which is the anode, water and Cl- will be attracted. So I want oxidation to take place. Therefore, when you look for half equation, you must find the half equation where Cl- and H2O are on the right hand side, where oxidation has taken place. Now, based on this, right, what do you notice? Remember, for oxidation to take place, I must choose the one with more negative E0 value. So based on this, do you realize that this one here has the more negative E0 value? And therefore, this should be the one, so water should be oxidized first. Okay, but water is not the one that is oxidized. Because now, other than the E0 value that I need to consider, I will need to consider the concentration. Because now they are using concentrated NaCl. So concentrated NaCl means that your concentration of Cl- is very high. And please remember, if you look at this half equation, when concentration of Cl- is very high, it will shift the position of this equilibrium towards the left hand side. Okay? And therefore, it will favor the oxidation reaction. So your Cl, the E0 value for your Cl2, Cl- is now less positive, because it's now favoring the oxidation reaction. So oxidation means that your backward reaction is more favored, so your E0 value will be less positive. And what is the effect? Now, plus 1.36 and plus 1.23, the value are very close to each other. So plus 1.36, because it becomes less positive, it could become a value that is 1.20. So can you see that when it becomes less positive, it becomes to a value that's 1.20. This 1.20, can you see that it is now the more negative E0 value? Can? So because it's now more negative than 1.23, so therefore Cl- is the one that is discharged instead of H2O. Follow? So because of the high concentration, it changed the E0 value. So now it changed to an E0 value that's now more favorable for that type of reaction to occur. Okay? But now, you see, take note, this is only likely if the two E0 value are very close. So now let's look at the other side, which is your cathode. So cathode is the electrode where reduction has occurred. So when you choose your E0 value for water and Na plus that is attracted to the cathode, these two species must be found on the left hand side of your half equation. And when you look at the E0 value, okay, and when you look at the E0 value, you realize that now I want reduction to take place, so you must choose something that is more positive. Correct, right? And the more positive one is this one. Because it's more positive, therefore it should undergo reduction first. Then just now I say, right, now because we are using concentrated NaCl, so I need to consider the concentration effect. So concentrated NaCl means that your concentration of Na plus is higher, and because it's much higher, it will cause the POE to shift towards the left hand side. And when it shift towards the right hand side, and because it shifted towards the right hand side, it will favor the reduction reaction. So when you favor the reduction reaction, the E0 value should be more positive. But can you see, this value minus 2.79, yes, it becomes more positive. But it can't become so positive such that it is more positive than minus 0.83. At most, it can only become minus 2.60, a more positive value like this. But you see, this minus 2.60 is still less positive than this one. Okay? So therefore, remember reduction reaction, I need to choose the more positive one. So minus 0.83 is still the more positive one. And therefore, H2O is still the one that is discharged. It's still the one that is reduced. Okay? So, in summary, what you need to take note here is that when you have aqueous, you need to consider water. So now you have a lot of species to consider. How do you decide which one is discharged? You compare their electrode potential first. That is the first priority. Then you realize that if there is high concentration, you need to see how the high concentration affect the electrode potential. Is it enough to cause the electrode potential to change that significantly? If not, we just go back to the electrode potential again to decide.